Ethiopian troops have given 72 hours ultimatum on Somalia Ethiopia border in a confrontation with Somalia's federal forces. Reportedly, welcome to my views and news. Thanks for watching. Good to be with you. Two news stories. Firstly, ultimatum by the Ethiopian military, 72-hour ultimatum. Secondly, Fano fighters are expanding their presence on Amhara Sudan border. It seems that they have managed to take control of large territories on the border, and now they can easily gain access to Sudan. Let's start with this news story first. Fano fighters are expanding their presence on Amhara Sudan border for the last 2 years, by the way. They have been trying to expand their presence. They want to uh, connect with Sudan, because if they manage to connect geographically with Sudan, they can take shelter in Sudan, they can buy weapons from Sudan, because in Sudan, arms trafficking networks are operating, and they can connect with Eritrea through Sudan. They can receive support from other regional players which want to support Fano through Sudan. So their uh, presence on Amhara Sudan border is very strategic. And 2 years ago, I did videos. I told you about specialized units formed by Fano to control Amhara Sudan border. Yes, they're not in control of Matimma, the border crossing. By the way, once they controlled border crossing too last year, but they have managed to make connections with Sudanese territory uh, through border areas. And in recent days, they captured some strategic areas on Amhara Sudan border. Korhamar is one of the place. Bibeko, second place. Gira Veha, Meharta Gabla. All these places are very strategic right on Amhara Sudan border. And sources on the ground are confirming Fano's presence there. It means that now Fano fighters have gained access to Sudan. They had access in the past too, by the way, but they have expanded their control of Amhara region, Sudan border areas. Sudan is turning into a sanctuary or a staging ground for attacks on Ethiopian territory. Fano fighters are operating there now. Oromo Liberation Army fighters using Sudanese soil for years. Many Shangal Gumuz fighters are there. Tukimat fighters as well. Tigray militaries are Army 70 operating there. Ethiopia protesting, asking Sudan to put an end to the presence of Ethiopian armed groups on Sudanese soil. Ridwan Hussain and Getachew visited Port Sudan a few weeks ago, raised this issue with Al-Burhan government. Al-Burhan government not interested in cooperating with the Ethiopian government, because Al-Burhan government is Eritrean ally in the ongoing war between Sudanese military and RSF, and Eritrean government is supporting Al-Burhan government in the war. That is why the Ethiopian government does not have real leverage to put pressure upon Al-Burhan government in Sudan. Secondly, what is alarming developments on Ethiopia-Somalia border? 72-hour ultimatum given by Ethiopian forces in Somalia. What happened? 4 to 5 days ago, I did a video. I told you about fighting on Ethiopia-Somalia border. It happened in Gaidu. Gaidu is in Jubaland. Ethiopian, reportedly, Jubaland forces launched an operation in Dolu town in Gaidu to remove Somalia's federal forces from Dolu town. It is claimed that Ethiopian forces backed that operation. They were part of the operation. Federal forces suffered losses. Jubaland forces took control of Dolu military base of federal forces. And federal troops then were seen returning to Mogadishu. In Gaidu, there was an escalation between federal forces and Jubaland forces in Beled Hawo too. There, Abdirashid Jannan is operating, Gaidu's intelligence chief, backed by the federal forces. Jubaland forces and Abdirashid Jannan led federal forces fought in Beled Hawo a few days ago. I did a video. Beled Hawo, very strategic area, close to Kenya too. Ethiopian troops are supporting Jubaland forces allegedly. Pictures are in circulation, videos too, showing Ethiopian military helicopters hovering over Beled Hawo. It is being said that 72-hour ultimatum has been given by Ethiopian federal forces to Abdirashid Jannan-led Somalia's federal forces stationed in Beled Hawo. Not just Ethiopian troops, Jubaland forces have also managed to reach the outskirts of Beled Hawo town, and they're going to launch an offensive in Beled Hawo. They want to remove the presence of federal forces from Beled Hawo. So, coming days, 2 to 3 days, very crucial. Federal government of Somalia is silent. It's not saying a word about the involvement of Ethiopian federal forces in support of Jubaland forces against federal forces of Somalia. But local sources are confirming. They say that Jubaland forces are backed by Ethiopian forces. And Jubaland forces want to just remove every presence of federal forces in Gaidu. Gaidu is very strategic. It's a zone which matters a lot for the Ethiopian government. And if you remember, we heard rumors recently that Somalia was in talks with Egypt to deploy Egyptian troops to Gaidu, Jubaland, which I don't think is possible, keeping in view the Ethiopian military presence in Gaidu, where ENDF and Jubaland forces are working in close coordination. Now, the local elders say that ENDF troops, ENDF senior leaders in Gaidu, they contacted Somalia's tribal elders in Gaidu. They told tribal elders that they must ensure that Abdirashid Jannan leaves Beled Hawo in the next 3 days. If it does not, operation will be launched, and Abdirashid Jannan will be responsible for the consequences. Somalia's federal government issued a statement condemning Jubaland forces, accusing them of attacking federal forces. Somalia's federal government is not saying a word about the role of Ethiopian National Defense Force in support of Jubaland forces. Jubaland and Mogadishu have been involved in a dispute for years. Jubaland President Mudobe got himself elected through an indirect election last year, backed by Ethiopia. Somalia's federal government opposed, but Somalia's federal government could not stop the election from being held because Ethiopian National Defense Force helped Jubaland government in holding that election. Ethiopian military presence in Somalia is very deep, you can say. It's not just military presence, it's political presence, as Ethiopia is backing Jubaland and Puntland regional presidents. So it is going to be an uphill task for Somalia's government to put an end to ENDF's military presence in Somalia, especially in Jubaland and Puntland. Let's see what happens. I think the Jannan will have to leave Beled Hawo, otherwise backed by Ethiopian troops. Jubaland forces they're going to storm Beled Hawo. There could be bloodshed there. Well, forces are not in a position to stand up to Jubaland regional forces. Let's see. Thank you for watching.